Hello everyone, Zach Nold here with Nold Family Horsemanship. I'm staying here with Athena, a Wild Mustang. She was my first Mustang from the Cedar Mountain herd down in southern Utah. She's a buckskin mare, as you can tell. She's between 4 and 5 years old. Today on this episode, we're going to talk about the horse. How to adopt a Mustang 101, the horse. More importantly, mare versus gelding. Got a lot of questions on whether or not people should get a mare or gelding. We're going to talk a little bit about the stallion and how long that lasts and how it takes into account what type of gelding you're actually going to get. Age, range, and kind of the differences. Color, what to think about with color. More importantly, and most importantly, mindset, what to think about with mindset for the horse, which is honestly how I picked her out. I wasn't going to pick a mare, but her mindset was perfect for me. And then basics of conformation. Be warned with the conformation, these are just the basics. If you want full analytical details, talk to a vet, okay? So with that, let's get started. The horse, the most important part of the adoption process, the animal that's going to tug at your heart for the rest of your life, let's hope. Mare versus gelding. Do you want a mare? Do you want a gelding? Mares in the horsemanship world have their own unique attitude, no matter if they are a quarter horse born in captivity or a horse born in the wild. A trainer that I know, Sydney Jackson, says that a mare will give you 110% on a good day and on a bad day 70%. A gelding, on the other hand, will only give you 70% tops no matter what. Now, is this true? I don't know. I haven't shown on it. She's a professional showman. I would take it as something to seriously consider when deciding what type of horse you want. Mares, some people think they're harder to train. I don't know if this is always the truth. With Athena here, we ran into our bumps like saddling. Saddling was a massive bump we had with her. We were able to get past that and we reached a new plateau. Now we're at the point where we're working on flying lead changes and she's moving and progressing nicely. She's never going to be a super show pony. She might do some ranch versatility, might do some light level reining, nothing spectacular. Mostly she's used for trails and cow work. A gelding, on the other hand, if you get them in the right age range, tends to be a little more accepting. They tend to have a little bit less of an attitude as far as screw you. Don't get me wrong, they're still going to be wild. They're still going to test you. They're still going to be tough. You're going to have to figure out what makes them take their left brain or right brain. Are they skittish or pushy, etc., etc. But depending on the age range, geldings typically, in my experience, are a little bit easier to train, whereas a mare is more, I don't want to do that. I only want to do that if I want to do it. Her, for instance, she's been over bridges, but if you don't go over a bridge and there's no water, she goes, why do I have to go over that? I'm just going to go through it, even if there's no water. So anyway, that's something to consider. Mare, gelding, etc. All right, for the next piece, we're going to talk stallion and how it creates the gelding. So for anybody who doesn't understand, horses from the wild come into the Bureau of Land Management. They're stallions if they're males, obviously. They come in, they run them through a chute. They sedate them, they gotta do whatever they do. They remove their testicles to make them a gelding. Depending on how long the horse has been a stallion can truly affect their mental capacity. Titan, for instance, who you guys have seen on my channel before, he's been a stallion for so long that honestly, he just, unless it's his way, he doesn't want to do it. He'll put up with you or with the job until he decides he's done. And this is with over a year of consistent 5 days a week training on him. Groundwork started, good base in the saddle. We can get to the point now where we can groundwork him and ride him around, and 45 minutes in, he can decide to buck and throw you off, which he has. So unfortunately, I'm willing to put this out there for anybody who thinks Mustangs are the end all. Not every horse in the world is going to be able to fit the job that you want it to be, so be aware of that. This is why this is so important to pick mindset coming up. We didn't get to pick Titan. We more or less rescued him, even though I don't like that term. But he needed a home. We were willing to give it to him. And now we've learned a lot about the stallion and how he was a stallion for 8 years. And he's now 11, 12. That mindset's just so much tougher to figure out. He's less of a willing partner than Athena is by far. And he's technically a gelding. So be aware of that. That moves us to age. Age on a horse. When you go to the corrals, you want to look at age, okay? The older the horse, the cheaper they are. 11 plus, they're only 25 bucks. If they're under that, they're 125 unless you get in a bidding war. Age is important. A 2 to 5 year old is probably my choice as far as age, because a foal, you can't ride until they're about 2, or you can start to train. You can start the basics, but nothing spectacular. At age 2, they start to get some height put on them. They start to put some weight on. You can put pressure on their back without hurting them. Just don't go nuts. 2 to 5 is the perfect range because the horse is starting to mature mentally, physically, emotionally, and you can really capture that. After 5, they say the 5 to 10 range, you're still good, you're still okay. You're still going to have horses that are maturing mentally and going to think through and be more of a willing partner. But that 10 plus range, any Mustang trainer will tell you it's really tough. It's a tough range to be in. I'm not saying they're not worth it. There's tons of older Mustangs that are rescued and that people train just fine, but they are tougher. They take longer for things to click with them, and it takes more time and effort into that horse, more consistency, okay? Moving on to color. Color is important to a lot of people. I fell in love with Athena here. She is my buckskin baby. My wife calls her the manly Palomino. I didn't choose her necessarily because of her color. The color definitely popped out to me. I chose her because of the mindset. When you're going to a horse auction, color is important to you. You gotta like the horse, right? You gotta love the horse for you to be able to use it. What I would recommend is you take somebody with you that understands the basics of conformation, hopefully better than you do. I have friends like that. You point out the horse you want, and you go, okay, I love this horse, tell me what's wrong with it. So you can actually make an honest, educated decision, okay? The next portion of this is going to be mindset. Mindset of the horse is by far the most important. This brain right here, what's going on in this horse's head, is more important than anything else. I'll tell you a little bit about Athena's mindset. She was in the very last stall, very last pen, with 30 other horses, probably at the Delta Corrals. We walked up to the fence. We've been walking down the line, writing down tag numbers, horses we liked, that had good conformation, color, whatever. She, with her mother, walks up, gets probably within 5 feet of the fence, and starts to bob her head. She's interested, she's curious. You want that in a horse because the more curious they are, the easier they are going to be to train. They might be frightened of stuff, but honestly, they're going to be easier to train because they want to know what you're doing. Athena showed that, not just to me, but to everybody who walked down the line as I was watching it. I fell in love. I had to have my wife, who was there and has been a horseman for 20 plus years, tell me whether or not her conformation was good. Mindset is the most important. There was a Mustang at the roundups that we had and the adoption event that would let people touch it, and it had not been touched yet, okay? That's rare. Look for mindset. How do they look at you? How far back? Are they hiding behind other horses? Do they come up to the fence? Are they curious? Are they watching you attentively? Do they not care? Do they turn their butt to you, which is disrespectful? What do they think of you? Most of them are going to be scared, but you can tell a lot by tiny cues in a horse. Finally, conformation. One of the most important parts of horsemanship when you're buying papered, pedigreed horses, like quarter horses, thoroughbreds, dressage horses, etc., paperwork and conformation is everything. In the Mustang world, we can't get everything perfect because guess what? Unless they're already trained, you're not going to be able to get that close to them. So we're going to look for the basics. And let me remind you, talk to your vet about all the analytical details and everything else that goes into it as far as conformation goes, okay? So Athena knows we're going to talk about her, so she's moving around. So I'm going to move her back to her side. All right, okay. So with Athena here, when you're looking at the conformation of the horse, the basics are you want to look for a back, right? It's going to be shorter than the belly. And they said the back should be shorter than the neck. I don't know if that's always going to be the case. That's what I've been told. But my go-to has been the back shorter than the belly. You don't want a flat back. So Athena's back here is not straight flat, okay? It doesn't come straight off the butt and drop. She's got a rounded butt here. It rounds up, creates a curve, and comes down. The reason you want a rounded butt is it's a lot of muscle, so they have more power in the rear end. It's the gas pedal of the horse. It's more easier to control. It's going to keep those hips when you're going up and down hills a lot stronger, okay? You're going to have less lameness issues. Belly needs to be a little bit longer in the back. We don't want it too long. You also don't want to sway back, which means a back that's going to be completely concaved. A little bit of curve is nice, but not too swayed. You want withers a little bit higher. The angle on the shoulders should be between 45 and 55 degrees. If they're too steep or too at an angle, you're going to have issues with lameness, is what it is. With Athena, as far as we could tell, she had a shorter back than the stomach. She had a nice butt, okay? So that means she could go up and down hills nicely. She was even from the front to the back for the most part. She was still growing a little bit, so her front withers were a little bit shorter, which is normal. Horses growing up tend to grow in the back faster and withers slower. Her legs looked good. They didn't look like they had any nicks, knocks, nothing like that. Her feet didn't look like they were clubfoot. Clubfoot feet is something where basically the horse's foot comes down, and instead of coming at a nice angle, which should be about 45 degrees-ish, it comes more straight down, okay? You don't want that. As far as her feet and legs go, they were, for the most part, straight. When we got her home, we realized she was a tiny bit pigeon-toed the way she stands, but it really hasn't affected her at all, and anything we're gonna do, it's not something that would be huge in the show arena, but it works well for her. Finally, as far as the conformation goes, you wanna look at the face, right? Mustangs have naturally giant heads, so don't worry about it too much. Some people think the face should be like half of the neck or something like that. I've read different articles, different places. The face looks proportionate and nothing looks to be out of place. And it doesn't really matter how big the head is. Okay, guys? So here's the deal. If you like this video, hit subscribe. I'm going to keep giving you guys more information about the horse as we go along. Athena here is going to be a prime example. In the comments, make sure you send questions, what you want to know. That way I can get it done for you and put it out there, okay? Hit subscribe. From me, from Zach at Old Family Horsemanship. Have a good day.